Hello everybody, welcome to this video titled Copilot and Conversational Chat. My name is Craig Kreskis. I'm a partner solution architect here at Microsoft. I want to say thank you so much for the investment and the time that you're making to learn more about all of the Copilot AI and machine learning capabilities inside of Business Central. Again, this video is just one as part of a bigger series. If you want to learn more, please watch some of the other videos. I'm focused on this one just to help guide you through how to leverage the conversational chat using inside of Business Central, but in the day in the life of a user. And so I'll just begin by invoking Copilot. And then you'll see throughout the process how I'm learning how to use the application, but then making decisions for my organization. So let's get started. You'll see here I'm logged inside of Business Central, the role-based homepage. And for me to just enable, turn on, or invoke Copilot, it's up on the top right corner. I click on that icon. Now we provide pre-built prompts, guides, just to help new users who are unfamiliar with how to get started and what are the questions or they want to ask Business Central. So again, I could use the pre-built guides on the right-hand side, or I could just start typing a question that's relevant or important to me. In this case, which client owes us the most money? And I click on enter. Now you can see here the School of Fine Art opens up. They owe us a significant amount of money. And where this experience continues to shine is that I can continue that conversation. And so it's recognizing that I'm talking about the School of Fine Art, talking about money that's owed to us. And so my next question might be, well, does the customer ledgers show me any recent payments from this particular customer? And I select enter, and you can see here all of the payment that are showing up for this customer. So there are 3 payments. Now, I might want to ask, well, have there been any payments this week? So I'll ask that question. And you see that Copilot does not recognize any ledger entries for the week. Again, I could look at the detail of that customer ledger entries by opening up this link. But before I call the customer to let them know they owe us some money, it is an important point for you to understand that Copilot only has access to Business Central data. So you notice it does not have access to my company bank accounts, or it only has access to the data inside of Business Central. Because the next thing I'm going to ask is, do we have a payment that has been registered inside of Business Central? And I can ask, how could I remind myself or remind customers, I should say, to pay? And here you can see where I'm using Copilot to teach me how to use Business Central, right? So you could see in the top right the results on how do I go ahead and remind customers that they have to pay for the outstanding balances, and then also how to set up a manual reminder. Now, good practices, if you're going to move forward in a different conversation, is to clear the palette. So I'll go ahead and clear that conversation. And I'm going to ask about the latest dealings with one of our other customers, the Alpine Ski House. And you can see here Copilot inside of Business Central sees that although I asked for a quote, I wasn't specific as to what type of quote, because it could have been a purchase quote, it could have been an assembly quote. But because Copilot sees the role in my homepage and it sees the type of work that I typically do, it recognized contextually that it should present sales quotes. So you can see here from there, I can link to the sales quote. It brings me to the details. I've got the information pane already open, so I can learn about everything on that sales quote for the customer. Let's look at one more use case or one more customer scenario. So again, I'm going to go ahead and clear this conversation. And I do this just to help increase the accuracy of my results. I'm going to ask about the inventory levels inside of Business Central. So I'll ask Copilot, do we have any chairs in stock that are under $200? I'll go ahead and select enter, and you could see I get a beautiful graphical representation of the 3 answers, the responses of those chairs that are inventory that are available to me that are under $200. And if I open up the reference, it's important for you to understand how Copilot is processing my request. And so you can see it took my question And this is how it responded. It filtered the items that are based on the description of the word chair. It looked at the inventory to make sure I have inventory, so that's greater than 0, and then give me something that has a unit price under $200. And again, I can open up the item card, I can drill into that and do my research however I need to. But the other thing you could do with Copilot is, and this is something that's been available in Business Central for a very long time, is that there are tooltips on any field. If you're not familiar with what the reordering or the replenishment policy is, you can click on it, right? So for example, I can click on that and it tells me a little bit about what that is. But now with Copilot embedded inside of the tooltips, I now can ask Copilot, well, what do I do with this? So here you see on the right-hand side, you could see that the reordering policy is giving me a understanding of what it is and how do I take advantage of it. And then further refining the research on how to implement this feature, I can ask a little bit more detail. Could you show me that the low stock inventory by category? And as we've seen so far in the video, Copilot will see that sometimes responses that it provides, responses with more structured data is much more appropriate. And that's what you saw in the case where it provided a link to the page or the item card. But it can also present to me a way in which I can do further analysis or information that gets me a little bit closer to the results that I'm looking for. In this case here now, we're embedding the analysis tab inside of the Copilot response. So not only did it give me the list page, but it gave me an analysis tab, the inventory item, and it sorted it by category. And then I can go ahead and type in some additional details, such as, can you add the vendor and any of the items that have the substitutes? So here you can see I see the vendor name in that column, but I also see that many of these items don't have a substitute, which could be troubling. That, again, if I get to a low order inventory and I don't have a substitute, what do I do? And so, again, allowing you to take Copilot even further down this path, I can ask Copilot, could you help me with this page? It's blank and I'm not sure what to do with it. And here we are now providing Copilot a suggestion right here in this dialog. So I go ahead and suggest with Copilot, and it provides a dialog box with all of the items that it is suggesting. I'll go ahead and insert those. And again, I always have that human intervention, that opportunity for me to go ahead and say, well, I don't think that lamp really belongs in the list. So let's go ahead and delete that. And then I can go ahead and back out and save that. So that's just a couple of case scenarios where you could take advantage of conversational chat inside of Business Central. Also learning about the product, but then doing your job and the flow of your role and the tasks that you're doing, how Copilot just made it really easy for those end users. I want to say thank you so much for being a part of this video titled Copilot and Conversational Chat. Again, my name is Craig, and I look forward to seeing you again on a video real soon.